we were handling our body worse than we handling our car. Only we never repair our car only when at the middle of the road it's stuck and it has smoke. It's already too late, we can imagine. But that's how we treat our body. We only go to hospital when something severe happens. So AI nowadays enables us how to go to preventive medicine, how to treat before, how to normalize the patients and to change and adapt the medicine or the treatment before something severe happens. And maybe to help him to change his lifestyle, his sport, or his diet, to know how to save him and lead him to the right way before and not when it's already too late.
What does it take to bring AI into one of the biggest, slowest, and most traditional healthcare systems in the world? And as a woman and as an outsider, my guest today helped roll out a platform that reads patients' medical files overnight and tells doctors by morning who is most at risk so they can treat people before it's too late. Her name is Marina Naomi Smolyanov, and you reached From a Woman to a Leader podcast. My name is Limor Bergman Gross, I'm your host, and tune into this episode to learn from Marina how to thrive through crisis. Let's dive right in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of From a Woman to a Leader. And I want to thank Google for Startups for hosting us here at their incredible studio in Tel Aviv. And hi, Marina.
Hello. Hi, Limor.
And today we're going to talk about leadership in times of crisis and uncertainty. And maybe we'll start talking about, will take us maybe like 5-6 years ago during COVID and share with us kind of where the pandemic caught you.
Wow, this is actually very interesting. As COVID just started, I was back then working as employed by Reichman University as a lecturer for innovation and entrepreneurship, and also the government school, public speaking for leaders. And also I was self-employed. I had for many years my own company for teaching innovation and implementing managing and innovation in large corporates in Israel and abroad. When COVID started to develop and much more crisis was starting for self-employed. My husband back then, he was self-employed. He totally lost his projects and courses he was teaching. And also my self-employed position was totally, all my calendar started to become more and more empty. That's why I always recommend women try to synchronize between also to be in Israel self-employed, but also to have a solid ground. And it proved itself. So when I gave birth to my first son, Adam, he was born in July 2020. So when Adam was born, there was a quarantine. We had no help from or assistance from friends, from family. So after 3 months, I came back for full-time working as an employee at Reichman University, and I found myself lecturing on Zoom. This was a good example for disruption innovation.
Yeah.
Reichman was one of the first universities that really adapted itself to the crisis, and everything moved very smoothly to hybrid teaching as students my international students, they were stuck abroad and they couldn't come back. So that served me a lot. So from 3-4 courses, I started to teach 8 courses from the morning till the evening with a 3-month-old baby.
Wow. How did you do that with no external help, right? We were all locked down
Exactly.
in our houses.
Yeah, so this is when also your inner strength and your inner innovation and creativity start to reborn. So my self-employee projects were totally closed, which before was my massive income. So I started, I hold my family economically thanks to these courses. And I was breastfeeding even during my my lectures online. So I was pretending having a poker face, and my husband was giving Adam as he was little. So that was very interesting times. This was the times also that I was chosen to be at the board of VSAI International, the Virtual Speakers Association.
And that's how we met.
Yes, that's how we met, exactly. So it was a wonderful experience because I was part of a global team of speakers, professional speakers, and they all needed to reinvent themselves. So I was hosting events online and also learned all the time new adapting techniques and methodologies, how to live in this new disruptive world of COVID when we start to work online and doing courses and to make it the most interesting, engaging way with students, with our with the companies I also used to work then. Myself also creativity because we moved to a new neighborhood and I felt terrified from this position. I was alone with no help. So I created community of fresh mothers in the neighborhood, and we started to meet once a week, and also a WhatsApp group of around 50 women that we kept supporting each other. So as more a support network we can build and create while we handling with crisis, or we can innovate, or we can find existing support networks.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of recap a lot of things that you said, because it said a lot of great things. So I think one kind of thing that I want to mention here is adaptability, right? You mentioned adaptability because no matter if we have like a huge crisis like COVID or like a war, we are living in an era of constant change. Now with generative AI, like everything is changing like on a daily basis. And I think like what really differentiates leaders and also like how you innovate is like you have to be adaptable and you have to constantly be learning.
Exactly. And it's actually already been claimed as to be one of the main features of success for people, as more they are being adaptive, flexible, and creative as they go through these massive challenges and revolutions. More things can actually happen, and we build resilience.
And you also mentioned like the combination between being an employee to having your own business, which is interesting. I found it interesting. Like for me, I'm self-employed, and there are like pros and cons in each, right? You mentioned like at certain times it was good for you actually to have like an income from an organization like the Bergman University versus being self-employed. There are other times that a lot of people struggle to find jobs, right? I mean, the job market is crazy, is going crazy. A lot of companies lay off. So sometimes it's good to to have a business and you can actually sell your skills and services.
Exactly. So it keeps you always in a balance, and that's the part that you can be adaptable and always adjust yourself to change.
So we met in person like a few months ago for a VSAI meetup.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember that when you introduced yourself, you said you moved into a full-time position
More than a year ago, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that process, right? Because for so many years you've been both, and now you're focusing on your kind of current role.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. Interesting point. It wasn't first time I was fully employed. I was working at the Israeli parliament, at the Knesset for many years, and working for the government, and also for large corporates as VP Business Development for Innovation. But I chose at this point of my life to join the largest Israeli health organization. We have around 5 million patients, and the largest employee in Israel, 50,000 employees. Employees in Israel. And it's also the second largest health organization in the world. So I felt there is a great opportunity to, before I was teaching innovation, entrepreneurship. I was also empowering startups in Google for Startups here, how to pitch to investors, how to build their story, their business model, their go-to-market strategy. I was working with large corporates, and this was a great opportunity for me to scale my skills, my background in innovation, and to implement it in health system. How we can save maximum lives in Israel and also abroad, with knowing how to implement innovation, not as a slogan, not just a buzzword or AI, but actually in day-to-day life, how they can feel it, and how to move from only reactive medicine into preventive medicine, proactive, and personalizing this medicine to see the person, not only the patients and the massive numbers or their files, as we know. Sometimes patients claim this. I'm really happy for this transformation I've done, and I was at a point that I started my PhD, also connected to this.
What is your PhD about?
What I'm investigating actually is how global or national crisis impacts innovation and regulation in the Israeli healthcare system. And also, when I started back then, I never could imagine that I will end up working inside at the heart of the healthcare system, the largest Israeli organization, Clalit. And the innovation center of Clalit was initiated initially by Professor Balitzer.
We all know him. All the Israelis people know who he is.
Of course. Yeah. So this, we know through COVID, he was one of the main advisors also to the international committees, how to manage this crisis hands-on in real life. And he was very revolutionary with his solutions. That's why we all heard. But that was a great point for the Israeli healthcare system, because all the regulations that in this very traditional, very old and massive system, it was so difficult to overcome the challenges of regulations, of the bureaucracy of this huge organization that couldn't move fast enough as a startup, as we do here in Google for startup or in the high-tech scene in Israel. And it was required the most, the Israeli healthcare system. People were dying each and every day. So to adapt quickly and scale as fast as possible and to adjust all the time and be adaptive to the change, it was necessary to give security to all the people of Israel. So that was when the innovation Clalit Innovation was established, and it created amazing network. So they become like incubators to adapt new technologies that already exist, but how we use the opportunity and to adapt it as fast as possible, moving forward despite the security information restrictions, despite the privacy regulations, all this, we received all the tools as innovation centers. So I'm the regional innovation manager of Haifa and Western Galilee district in Clalit, which is the largest region of Clalit. We serve around 800,000 patients. And we try to adapt whether the home care, we move to digital home care solutions to make sure that only acoustic patients will stay at the hospitals, but we all go through remote solutions for our patients in order to avoid infections. So I feel every morning that it's a special mission and fulfillment with new opportunities to meet startups that really will create the next revolution in healthcare that will transform everything we know by now.
Yeah.
And if we talk just specific about AI revolution nowadays, you mentioned how the world changed through AI as we move very fast. So in Clalit, and this is something that's very fulfilling for me to know that I was right there when this happened, is nowadays we have the CPI, or AI Pro in all the billboards and commercial. So CPI is really a remarkable kind of science fiction platform that knows at night to read all the medical files of the patients and to analyze it and all his background, all of his medical steps he took, whether introspections or when he was at ER, everything is documented there. And in the morning, while the system analyzes that only AI knows how to do it, in the morning it sends to the clinician what are the best advice according to his medical record, and how high is his ranking in risk management. So we know if before we were handling our body worse than we handling our car, only we never repair our car only when at the middle of the road it's stuck and it has smoke. It's already too late, we can imagine. But that's how we treat our body. We only go to hospital when something severe happens. So AI nowadays enables us how to go to preventive medicine, how to treat before, how to normalize the patients and to change and adapt the medicine or the treatment before something severe happens, and maybe to help him to change his lifestyle, his sport, or his diet, to know how to save him and lead him to the right way before and not when it's already too late. And we are the only healthcare organization in the world that has a special model, because we also public, that healthy patients is actually kind of economic for the system. If a patient will go again and again to a hospital, it will cost a lot to the system. That's why there is no contradiction of interest between patients and doctors. So we are doing everything possible, not only because we care very deeply about our patients and we want to make sure they all can support their families and be healthy, but also because there is the mechanism is good in the way it's built, that there is no contradiction in this.
That's fantastic. I wanted to ask you, so you joined a huge kind of organization, right? Health organization, very traditional, that exists for many years. And you, as a woman, driving innovation. So it's kind of, I'm seeing a lot of contradictions there, right? Healthcare, which is in general very traditional,
Yes.
very conservative. A woman, right, in a very, very male field, right? Healthcare and innovation. Like the dots doesn't see, I know it does click, but tell us a little bit, how do you drive as a woman? How do you drive innovation in a field that is very muscular, very conservative, very against change in a way?
Yeah, it's true. So that's a good point and very very good insight. So actually, the fact that I was doing all these versatile professional journeys in the past, and also I was a speaker, professional speaker for many years in Israel and abroad, this gave me, and we as speakers, we need to use our masculine energy in order to bring ourselves to the stage that we want to be heard. We want to influence as many people as possible in minimum time. That's why we need to overcome the fear of public speaking. Because if we want to make an impact, a large impact, and we are driven by the sense of purpose, the only way to do it is to make sure how we elevate and how we let our voice to be heard. So the shift was not only representing myself, my opinions. Sometimes I was representing my country in different missions in my life, but something bigger than me. I felt that this time of so many crises and change, I wanted to be part of something bigger than me. And as I said, I truly believe, and whether it's my PhD, my previous professional experience, my life patterns, I grow and I thrive from crisis. So where there is a challenge, there's also an opportunity. And to see this traditional large organization, and it moves so slowly, and in my life, my energy, my pace, my rhythm is so fast. They told me actually this was one of the reasons they offered me this position, because I bring something totally different. And the way they created the innovation center of Clalit is they took all of us are external from Clalit. So it's a totally different division. They usually don't take people from the system. And this is when the magic begins, when you see also in holistic way, and also you can see the small challenges when you see them. You are much more open to see the abnormalities of the system when you're coming from outside and not get born into it or grow or professionally.
You don't have the bias of
exactly
being in the system.
Exactly. And they took a lot of women actually to specifically to this role of innovation managers. We as women know how to do a very wise lobbying for the organization, for our division. We know how to speak in political correct way, but also to be assertive, not aggressive. So it created a lot of great opportunities. And I was sent to London recently to the Digital Health World Congress. I was invited to be a speaker there. And I stood on this huge stage, and there were regional innovation directors of many companies around the world and health organizations. Most of them were men, and I was very proud to represent the Israeli health organization that brought revolutionary AI solutions that of course, not everything perfect. And I also was brave enough to describe the challenges we see every day, and we try to overcome it. The company that we managed to implement their innovation, that the patients at home, they could have a fully experience of rehabilitation at home with this platform, that they can make a video of themselves and a doctor could see their measurements and how they improve. So without being exposed to so many risks while they're at hospital. And as a woman, there is some challenges, of course, how to stand and say loud your truth. Everything's still growing. We're still learning on the way, but this is fascinating because it showed me so much how to navigate in this complex reality, in this system. And we must be creative. One project that maybe I brought from abroad, we had a really good opportunity with amazing, remarkable company that have really innovative solution, and we are trying to implement it in the national level. So for me, it will be the best fulfillment if I could scale it, and or at the region or at the national level, to know that I could really contribute something to shake this traditional big system. And I'm also, as a patient of Clalit, so I could see from inside as a patient what are the abnormalities, what are the main pain points, and to know that I can give an adequate answer to my grandmother that always asked me, where's the innovation? Where's the innovation? If I need to wait for 3 months or half year for appointment at the doctor or a surgery, where's your innovation? What are you talking about? So innovation, in order to be fully implemented, it needs to be from bottom up, from within the field. And that's what we try to create, to be always connected to the needs of our patients and being the ambassadors of trying to talk in their languages, and to be connected to the main need, to the challenge, to the where's the main pain, and try to solve day by day.
Incredible. Wow, thank you so much, Marina. I mean, it was so insightful. Tell our listeners where they can find you.
Okay, so I'll be happy to reconnect on LinkedIn, Marina Naomi Smolyanov, and whether you have any innovative solutions for healthcare, or startups or companies that you want to consider collaboration with us, I would love to hear. And also, if you are a woman that want maybe to get advice from me in a specific point of change, whether it's for career or personal, I'll be happy also to be in touch with this.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marina. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope it was valuable for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform and share it with any woman who needs to hear it. And I'll see you next week. Bye.